Legend tells of a fateful night in ancient times, when a glorious meteor blazed across the heavens, lighting the sky brighter than the sun. The meteor crashed to Earth with such force, it reduced mountains to rubble. The radiant glow of the impact was said to resemble a giant phoenix rising into the night sky. For days, no one dared venture near the place where the meteor had come to rest. At last, the great blacksmith Ku climbed into the crater, where he found that the meteor had shattered into 9 perfect pieces. The weapons forged from the Iron Phoenix, as the meteor came to be called, were said to possess magnificent abilities and would grant certain victory to any who wielded them. The desire for these weapons became so great that Ku was murdered the moment he finished the final blade. And it was stolen from the blacksmith's fire even before it had cooled. During the centuries since, countless battles have been waged over the right to possess these weapons. The years of bloodshed only served to increase the potency of their magic. Soon, a new legend grew. Supreme power would be achieved by the one who controlled all 9 weapons of the Iron Phoenix. Now tell me, children, have I ever told you the tales of the Phoenix weapons?
No, Master.
Ah, they are wonderful stories indeed, full of adventure and excitement and bravery. Incredible stories.
Tell us one.
Yeah.
If you insist. It begins long ago, many years after the forging of the Phoenix weapons. The Ember Sword has always brought out the best in the warriors that hold it. Even the lowliest fighter becomes mighty and powerful under its influence. Wielding the Ember Sword, a pauper could become a lord, or acquire the wisdom to transcend warlike ways. Alas, the scholar Wu Daobin, one of the first to use the Ember Sword, found the way of peace and knowledge, only to have his life and the sword violently taken away. The sword was then used in quests for raw domination, but eventually it slipped from memory. The Ember Sword now hides, waiting for a true warrior to bring it out of the shadows and call forth its fire once more. Now tell me, children, have I ever told you the tales of the Phoenix weapons?
No, Master.
Ah, they are wonderful stories indeed, full of adventure and excitement and bravery. Incredible stories.
Tell us one.
Yeah.
If you insist. It begins long ago, many years after the forging of the Phoenix weapons. Since the Searing Dagger's creation, tales have been told of how it helped to protect the weak, the innocent, and the defenseless. Yet this seems an accident of the life of this weapon. For like all the Phoenix weapons, the force of the Searing Dagger extends to the supernatural, giving one the power of many. Such power will always be too dangerous to be controlled by mere mortals. Still, the Searing Dagger has managed to serve the good. And if it has been lost, many of the warriors who have held it have become legends. Men and women, kings and peasants, brave souls who carried the Searing Dagger with love in their hearts.
Do you ever get the feeling that we're like these koi?
What, scaly and living underwater?
No, but the koi are never going to see the outside of this pond. They have food and a place to live, and they're perfectly safe. No one is ever going to drop a fish hook in and pull one out.
Even for a girl, you don't make much sense.
Well, aren't we like the boring fish? Master Kiko trains us, but we never get sent outside the gates. We have everything we need right in this little pond. It sure isn't very exciting.
I see your point. There's no girls here.
Don't you ever think about anything except girls?
Not really.
And how are the koi today, children?
Same as always, Master.
Mia thinks we should be allowed to go into town down the mountain, Master.
That is what Mia thinks, huh? Well, let us sit together and I will tell you a story to pass the time until you are old enough to go down the mountain.
Yes, Master.
Yes, Master.
In the bloody time when the first Emperor Shi Huangdi began to unify the empire, a young peasant named Xin happened upon the great phoenix talons, said to slice the flesh of men as if it were paper. He carried it to the capital and presented it to the Emperor. The Emperor rewarded the young man by sending him to the Imperial Military Academy. Xin proved to be an extraordinary soldier and rose to become a great general. He won the right to wield the talons and helped secure the victory of the Han. Xin then wielded them to extend the might of the empire, carving out the Silk Road to the west. With the peace the great unification brought, Xin had no more enemies to defeat. Like a caged tiger, the greatest general of the Han dynasty began to feel enslaved by his privileged station at court. He decided to take the empire for himself. But Xin was killed by his most trusted lieutenant, who remained loyal to the emperor. Xin's lust for power had blinded him to his duty. Later, upon the fall of the Han Empire, warlords clashed and blood was spilled. And in the course of time, the Phoenix Talons were lost. But the power-hungry will never cease to search for the weapon that helped build an empire.
Kai, focus.
This is boring.
The distracted warrior is the defeated warrior.
I don't care. I don't want to do this anymore. Master Kigo, why do we have to sit here? This is really stupid.
You have much to learn, young man.
You should punish him, Master.
No one asked you.
Hush, both of you. Meditation calms the body and spirit, just as martial arts excites them. Without yin and yang, you will never achieve perfection in your art.
Oh, but do we have to sit like this forever?
I think that's enough contemplation for today. I will tell you a story to finish the lesson. Many centuries ago, a soldier who had been wounded in a great battle came upon the small farming village of Shuangxi. The peaceful farmers offered him refuge, but the soldier had been mortally injured and he died, leaving behind the massive Phoenix meteor hammer he carried with him. Lo, the strongest of the villagers and a master stonemason, was the only one able to swing the great weapon. It seemed unbreakable, and Lo put it to use in his work. But this was not a time of tranquility. Warlords struggled for power, and outlaws roamed the countryside in search of easy prey. When a group of bandits attacked the village, the farmers tried to fight back, but their simple farm tools were no match for the bandits and their black powder bombs. Only Lo was able to resist them. Legend has it that even after Lo was shot with 100 arrows and his wife and child had been killed, he still stood quietly and calmly, sending the bandits flying like chaff in the wind. Finally, he defeated the bandit chief. Perhaps sensing his own imminent entry into the afterlife, Lo granted the chief mercy and allowed him to surrender. From that day forth, the spirit of the great Lo protected Shuangxi. But the farmers could do very little with such a weapon as the hammer, and it eventually disappeared, traded away for rice and more useful things.
That's not too heavy for you, is it?
You weigh less than this rice.
Is that so?
Well, I won't know for sure unless you let me carry you somewhere, my lady.
You're very improper.
I think you like it.
Your chatter just distracts me from concentrating on my surroundings.
Afraid those vegetables are possessed by evil spirits?
Quit joking, Kai.
I'm not joking. Mia, you don't ever give me a chance to show what I could be to you.
I'm sorry. I can't. I just can't.
Why the long faces? This is a glorious day. Look at how the sun shines. Feel the wind. Look at those spears in the shop. See how they glow? Indeed. Those weapons remind me of a story.
Not another one of your stories.
Just you be silent, young man. How does it go again? Yes. Long ago, the Phoenix Tail Spear belonged to a noble Chinese family. As they journeyed to bring their youngest daughter to her wedding, the party was attacked by a warlord who wished to take the beauty for his own. The family's entire contingent of retainers was struck down, but the bride took up the Phoenix Tail. Though a sheltered and innocent flower, she fought off the attackers with a skill any seasoned warrior would envy. She married her beloved that very night. The invincible spear resurfaced again during a peasant revolt. On a tour of the provinces, a tyrannical emperor was attacked. All his bodyguards were decimated, save the captain, who wielded a spear that his father had given to him. The captain was able to save the emperor's life and was made a wealthy man by the land and treasure showered upon him. The Phoenix Tail emerges again during the reign of Kublai Khan, wielded by the most feared of the Khan's warriors, the Mongol Jagun. Jagun means 100, the number of enemies he killed in one battle. It is said that once his beloved warrior wife Bayar was killed, Jagun was driven only by a thirst for revenge. He slew all who stood in his path, always searching for the one who had stolen what was most dear to him. Excellent, both of you. You're becoming fine students and warriors.
Thank you, Master.
Now tell me, what do you believe is most important to a warrior?
Harmony with oneself and environment, Master.
I don't think so.
No?
Harmony's great, but it's the fighter with the most power who's gonna win.
Excellent answer, Kai. Your words have truth. Power is what every warrior desires, whether he admits it or not.
Not a true, pure warrior.
Sadly, you will have to look long and hard to find one of those, Mia. Both of your responses were correct.
Thank you, Master.
Now, to finish today's exercises, here is a tale both of you need to hear. It too involves power. The Heian period of Japan was a time of romance and intrigue. The era of the samurai had not yet come, and the emperor ruled with supreme power. It was a world of courtesans and politicians, art and music and beauty. Miragami, an advisor to the emperor, fell victim to just such a beauty. Kitsune, the emperor's concubine. Although touching an imperial concubine was forbidden, the two began a passionate love affair. Miragami bestowed his beloved with many gifts, among them a magnificent ninjato, the feather blade of the phoenix. The blade was said to glow with an inner light and be of no more weight than a feather. Miragami's obsessive love turned dark when he began to suspect Kitsune was visiting a senior advisor. Determined to uncover the truth, he hid himself outside Kitsune's chambers and waited long into the night. Soon he saw the advisor enter and heard sounds of a passionate conversation. While Kitsune and her illicit lover were asleep, Miragami stole into her anteroom, took up the feather blade, and in the darkness crept to his rival's bedside. He raised the blade to kill the man who had stolen Kitsune from him. But when he brought it down, he heard a woman scream. Lighting the lamp, he found only the fatally wounded Kitsune, her lover having quietly departed. Stricken with grief, Miragami plunged the feather blade into his own heart, hoping to rejoin his lost love in the afterlife. The weapon that had committed the crimes of passion has since been lost to time. I do not have to tell you how displeased I am. I expect my students to behave with the utmost control and respect. You two especially. You are my wards. You must strive to be perfect warriors. You have let me down today.
I'm sorry, Master.
Sorry.
What was the fight about?
Some of the older boys were making fun of me, and Kai fought them.
I could have handled it.
I started fighting because I was afraid Kai would get hurt.
I don't need you to protect me.
Enough, enough. Both of you are to be punished.
Please, Master. It wasn't his fault. Let me take the punishment for both of us.
Don't listen to her. I started the fight.
Even though you may be lacking control, you do show loyalty and dedication. Listen closely to this story, and we will consider the matter closed.
Yes, Master.
A retainer of a mighty samurai clan came into possession of a most powerful katana, the Phoenix Flame of Heaven. With it, he became renowned throughout Japan. However, luck was not on the side of his lord, and his clan was defeated in a bloody battle fought on sea and land. All the surviving samurai committed seppuku as honor dictated. All, that is, save the samurai who possessed the Flame of Heaven. He fled, unable to end his life in an honorable fashion. After sailing to China and wandering for many years, the samurai realized that as long as he held the Flame of Heaven, he did not age. His wounds healed magically, and no disease could harm him. Immortality, however, was not a blessing. The samurai was reminded every day of his disgrace. He began to long only for an honorable death and sought out opponents at every turn. Armed with his supernatural weapon, no one could match him. It is said that one night, the disgraced samurai foolishly battled a band of pirates that was attacking a coastal city. He must have finally found the death he sought, for he was never heard from again. As if his mighty katana could not live without its master, it too disappeared from history. But the legend of the Flame of Heaven persists, and some say it went with the pirates, sailing the seven seas forever, dealing death.
This is your own fault, you know. You should have been paying attention to the Master.
You're not helping me.
You're a very disobedient student.
So, how are we progressing?
My arms are tired.
That is the idea. I punish you so that you might learn to become a better warrior.
That's what I told him, Master.
Mia, take care with your attitude. You are both far from perfect.
May I please put my arms down now?
No, you can remain like that a little longer. Now, both of you, listen to this story. Long ago, a peaceful village in the Western Plains was raided and its treasure stolen. The Phoenix Ash Blade, a massive sword of indescribable prowess. For many years, a bandit king ruled with the weapon, until old age claimed him and his tribe was scattered. The sword was traded to a most wealthy merchant from India who planned to include it in his daughter's dowry. She, however, was determined not to be bought and sold in an arranged marriage and escaped into the night dressed as a man, taking the sword with her. She became a wandering ascetic in the high mountains on the roof of the world, abandoning the weapon for the way of enlightenment. The ash blade later reappeared in the hands of a master builder from the far northwest. A peaceful man, he had little use for such a weapon until the expanding empire of the Mongols threatened his people. His city was overrun. He surrendered the sword along with his life. But empires crumble, and the weapon came to a Chinese imperial treasurer. The official was corrupt and greedy, and when his crimes were discovered, he was executed. Along with the rest of his vast treasury, the ash blade was seized by the throne. It then vanished from history.
Come on, Mia, you can make it.
I'm scared. What if I fall?
You won't. And if you do, I'll catch you.
You're not big enough to catch me.
Well, I will be someday. Just trust me.
Oh, okay. Here I come.
All right, children. Come down from there and hear a story. The Phoenix Wings, perhaps the most unusual of the Phoenix weapons, first surfaced in the hands of the infamous beauty Yang Shi. At a young age, she was married to one of the most powerful men in China. But as the years and her youth passed, she allowed jealousy to consume her. One morning, Yang Shi took the Phoenix Wings and killed one of her maids, wrongly believing she was having an affair with her husband. The ferocious reputation of the Wings was fixed when they later fell into the hands of the Red Viper assassin clan. It was said the Wings rendered those who wielded them noiseless, victims hearing only the sound of their last breath. It seemed each killing only made the weapon thirstier for blood. Eventually, the Phoenix Wings fell into use by the crime underworld to strike fear into the hearts of the innocent. Tangled in petty corruption and squabbles for meager spoils, some time passed before the Wings found a stronger and more worthy master. One of the greatest wielders of the Phoenix Wings was Liu Xin, a beautiful woman who dressed, acted, and fought as a man. With her devastating weapon, she became a feared mercenary queen, looked on by her followers as a kind of goddess. But her thirst for blood and power deranged her mind, and eventually led to her own bloody passage to the underworld, while the Phoenix Wings were lost to knowledge.